Okay, so here I am. I'm at the shop, and anyway, we're trying something a little bit new. So we've all familiar with the Norton White Tile Method. You paint the tile white, burn your image on there, and then take it up with usually acetone to take that paint off of there. And generally use white paint, anything with titanium dioxide. So this morning, I tried a little bit just for fun, some things without the paint, and basically I wanted to etch into the tile, and then I used combinations. Some of it I used, just good old-fashioned Sharpie, and some of it I used alcohol ink. So these alcohol inks here. So anyway, and that's what we end up with, and I kind of like the look. It's got a nice look to it. Over here, let's see, get myself backwards. Over here is the alcohol ink side. I like that a lot better. I will tell you that it's a little bit rough on the Sharpie. You'll rub down your tip pretty quick doing this over here, and but the alcohol ink turns out a better process. So what I'm doing right now is I'm doing more of a test we're gonna mess with. These are 6-inch tiles, so these make a nice trivet, let's say, so that's what I'm doing now. We got a dinner party tonight, and I thought I'd make my friends a trivet. So we'll see what happens. So here we go. You can see I'm burning there, and that is, we're running at 30 millimeters a second and 100% power, and we'll see how that goes. You can see it leaves very little mark. It makes it just kind of a little light gray. I am using air assist, and that's mainly to keep those dust chips out of the lens, and we'll see how that goes. This does take a while because you're only running 30 millimeters a second, but we'll see how that ends up. And there you can see exactly what my image is hopefully going to be there, those dragonflies there. So we'll come back. Okay, so my engraving is done here, and I don't know how much is actually going to show up on here. Let's see if I can. You might be able to kind of see there where it's etched onto the tile. Like I say, it doesn't look like much right now. I can tell it pretty simply where it's etched. It's kind of a dull off-white, so to speak, and then the rest of it, of course, is the gloss white tile like you see there. So what I've got here with me, you're going to want some gloves. If you're working with this alcohol ink, you definitely want gloves. I've got a variety of alcohol inks here, good old Roy G. Biv color palette, and then I'm going to try a little bit of cotton balls, good old cotton balls, and we're going to try this too. These are just, we'll drop those down there, very little Q-tips, and we're going to see what we can do with those. So let me reset the camera here, and you can kind of see what I'm doing here, and we'll see whether it turns out. This might have too thin of lines to actually work out. What I did with this pattern, this is a kind of a frilly dragonfly pattern is what I've got here. And what I did, these are 6-inch tiles. I made the image 6.1 inches so that it would bleed off onto the sides there, and there wouldn't be really any kind of a border area on here. And we'll just see what happens. I'm going to start out with the Q-tips, and let me reset the camera. We'll see what happens. Okay, I probably should have got these gloves on before I hit go on the camera. That's all right. You get to see me put on gloves. And you're definitely going to want these. These alcohol inks are they're very color fast. So I'm going to start out with some yellow up here in the corner, and I'm just going to put a few drops up here. You can see it there. And I'm going to grab one of my Q-tips. I'm just going to smear that in there. Make sure I'm getting into those cracks, especially clear up on the edges. And I'm going to kind of go for a diagonal rainbow here. So I'm going to finish out this tile, and we'll come back for the next step. Okay, so you can see here I've got my inks spread over there. They dry really fast. It's one of the reasons I really like this alcohol ink. Even when I'm staining wood, I can go from applying some as a stain to cutting within just a couple minutes, maybe 5 minutes at the most. So it's a lot faster than an oil stain. Sometimes I do follow that up with a clear coat when I'm doing the wood. Actually, I always do. Pretty much always do, I guess. So now I'm just getting some denatured alcohol onto a cotton ball here. And we're going to start gently wiping off the excess. So it sticks to the areas that I've engraved, but the smooth area, it doesn't want to stick to that nice smooth porcelain there. Okay, so then finally I'm going to grab just a piece of, this is some of the microfiber towel here, and get a little alcohol on there. And so the microfiber towel has just got fewer sticky outy parts on it, you know, to use a technical term. And so there we go. Let that alcohol dry for a minute, and let me reset the camera, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I gave it a quick rub with the cotton balls and denatured alcohol. You can see how those end up. And so I went through quite a few of those. I guess half a dozen, so not that many. Nice cheap brush. I kind of like the way that these Q-tips worked as little micro paint brushes. They didn't leave a whole lot of debris on there. And it looks good. And then I went over it once I got majority of that off there, or all of it off there, with my microfiber cloth that you see here. Then I let it dry, and then I used some of this just window cleaner just to get off some of the smudges and stuff. And this is what we end up with. So I don't know. I'm kind of pleased. It's weird working on the camera backwards, but you get the idea. I'm kind of pleased with it. I like that look. And I think with some different images and things, I could do some kind of cool stuff. So I'll put a couple of corks on the back of this. This will be a nice trivet. It'll be a housewarming gift for our friends that are having us over for dinner tonight. So there you go. Another cool little laser project. 69-cent white tile, and now it's a pretty nice looking trivet. Okay, in summary, so we had to run this a little bit slow, the tile there. No treatment on it, so I love that. I don't have to put any paint on there. You could actually emulate a little bit of that Norton White Tile Method. That ink does come in a black if you want to do that sort of thing. These, by the way, are the Jacquard brand inks, and this is my little holder I made. They're Jacquard brand inks, and I don't know a whole lot about alcohol inks, but these seem to be pretty good. I've had good results. I originally got them to do some epoxy stuff. I was gonna, use them to dye the epoxy and do some of those things, but epoxy and I, we didn't get along real well, I guess. It just didn't enthuse me. I love them as a wood dye. Just a few drops in some denatured alcohol to dilute it down, brush it on. I use a cheap foam brush, and it dries really fast. You can be cutting in just a few minutes later. You can be cutting that wood, and I love the tones that it makes. It's a nice soft color. I really like it, and there's, I don't know how many millions of colors there are. This happens to be the Jacquard Pinata kit is what I bought there. It was a pretty good deal, I think, and they've lasted quite a while. They're a little bit expensive, but a little bit goes a long way. So there you go, another fun little project. I guess until next time, do good work, be well, and I'll see you down the road.